Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. This is Breaking with Convention, War, Peace, and the Presidency. I'm Amy Goodman. Hillary Clinton has secured the Democratic Party's presidential nomination, becoming the first woman to head the ticket of a major party in U.S. history, even as the nominating process was marked by dissent on the convention floor. During the roll call vote, Bernie Sanders joined the Vermont delegation, then moved to give Clinton the party's presidential nomination by acclamation.
Madam Chair, I move that the convention suspend the procedural rules. I move that all votes cast by delegates be reflected in the official record. And I move that Hillary Clinton be selected as the nominee of the Democratic Party for President of the United States.
But hundreds of Sanders supporters walked off the convention floor in protest and headed to the nearby media tent. This is Vermont delegate Shyla Nelson.
This was an entirely organic, grassroots, non-hierarchical effort among a group of grassroots, a group of delegates who were hearing increasingly deep concerns from constituents that their voices were not going to be heard at this convention, and a feeling of moral obligation to ensure that we do what we can to represent them as they would want us to represent them here.
The Sanders delegates later took over the media tent and held a sit-in. Many taped their mouths shut with the word silenced written in marker over the tape. Meanwhile, inside the convention center, former President Bill Clinton spoke about his wife, Hillary Clinton.
When I was president, I worked hard to give you more peace and shared prosperity, to give you an America where nobody is invisible or counted out. But for this time, Hillary is uniquely qualified to seize the opportunities and reduce the risk we face. And she is still the best darn change maker I have ever known.
Later, Hillary Clinton addressed the convention center via video stream. Her video began with an image of a glass montage of all 44 male presidents shattering, symbolizing the shattering of the glass ceiling.
What an incredible honor that you have given me. And I can't believe we just put the biggest crack in that glass ceiling yet. Thanks to you and to everyone who's fought so hard to make this possible. This is really your victory. This is really your night. And if there are any little girls out there who stayed up late to watch, let me just say, I may become the first woman president, but one of you is next.
Was Hillary Clinton speaking via video stream from New York. Outside the convention center here in Philadelphia, crowds demonstrated late into the night. The media collective Unicorn Riot reports authorities used pepper spray against crowds protesting outside the gates of the convention center. It also reports Green Party vice presidential candidate, former Cherry Hankala, was arrested. Meanwhile, across Philadelphia, thousands of people protested during the day on Tuesday. In North Philadelphia, hundreds marched for hours in the heat in a black resistance demonstration demanding an end to police brutality and state violence. This is Shancheri Kumanika speaking about Hillary Clinton's 1996 comments in which she called some black youth super predators.
Hillary Clinton has never really fully or adequately accounted for her comments, which are not just comments, but actually a policy that she lobbied for and her husband pushed through, which resulted in people being incarcerated at tremendous, unprecedented levels. We're still dealing with the impact of that. That's why the language that we hear about a broken system, for a system to be broken, it had to work. And this policing and criminal justice has never worked in the United States for African Americans.
Hundreds more protested at City Hall on Tuesday. Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe told Politico Tuesday he believes Hillary Clinton would support the Trans-Pacific Partnership if she's elected president. McAuliffe is a close friend of the Clintons. When asked by Politico if Clinton would change her position and support the deal if elected, McAuliffe said, quote, "Yes, listen, she was in support of it. There were specific things in it she wants fixed," unquote. Clinton had supported the deal, but then came out opposing it last October amidst the close primary against Bernie Sanders, who's long long opposed the TPP. Meanwhile, Nate Silver's 538 blog is reporting Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are now equally unpopular among the American public. A recent Gallup poll shows the two candidates had the exact same unfavorability rating of 58%. Throughout the election season, multiple polls have shown both candidates to be historically unpopular. This comes as President Obama has said it's possible Trump may win in November. This is Obama speaking with NBC's Savannah Guthrie.
Anything is possible. It is the nature of democracy that until those votes are cast and the American people, have their say, we don't know.
More than 40 people were arrested Tuesday in front of the governor's mansion in St. Paul, Minnesota, protesting the police killing of Philando Castile in nearby Falcon Heights earlier this month. Demonstrators have been camped in front of the mansion for weeks. On Tuesday, officers made arrests after telling protesters they could not have tents, tarps, or chairs, anything that could be used for an occupation. Meanwhile, in Rochester, New York, some of the more than 70 people arrested at Black Lives Matter protests there earlier this month appeared in court Tuesday. Among them, 22-year-old Sapphire Williams, who was arrested at the protests while speaking on camera with a local TV reporter. She and her lawyer said Tuesday she'll fight the charges.
If I know and understand my rights as a U.S. citizen, as I learned them to be, it was absolutely unjust and wrong.
You've seen the video. It's really quite disturbing to think that someone could be going about their business, speaking, utilizing their First Amendment right, and then because of what they said, someone says, I don't like that, I'm going to arrest them. That's apparently what happened. Big justice delayed is justice denied. She's entitled to walk into court on August the 3rd and have this case dismissed immediately.
Meanwhile, former basketball star Michael Jordan has spoken out for the first time about police violence. A statement released by Jordan said, quote, as a proud American and a black man, I've been deeply troubled by the deaths of African Americans at the hands of law enforcement and angered by the cowardly and hateful targeting and killing of police officers, unquote. On Tuesday, Michael Jordan donated $1 million to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund and another $1 million to the International Association of Chiefs of Police. ISIS has taken credit for the slaying of a French priest in Normandy Tuesday. Witnesses said two men came into the church during a morning service and slit the throat of 85-year-old Father Jacques Hamel as parishioners watched in horror. Police who arrived at the church shot the two attackers dead. The White House has announced it'll substantially expand a program to admit Central American refugees into the United States. Unaccompanied Central American children are currently allowed to enter the U.S. as refugees. The new regulations will expand that designation to include their entire families, permitting siblings over the age of 21, parents, and other relatives. The change comes after tens of thousands of unaccompanied children and families from El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala have arrived at the U.S. border since 2014. The number of mothers with children and unaccompanied minors arriving at the U.S. border reportedly rose late last year, and increasing violence in El Salvador and Honduras. A district judge in Texas has dismissed the last remaining criminal charges against two anti-choice activists behind the secretly filmed, heavily edited videos of Planned Parenthood officials. David Daleiden and Sandra Merritt have been indicted for tampering with government records, a felony, in connection with videos that were edited to falsely accuse Planned Parenthood of profiting off donations of fetal tissue. And in New Haven, Connecticut, Yale University has placed a gag order on dishwasher Corey Menifee, who broke a stained glass window depicting smiling enslaved Africans carrying bales of cotton. Menifee broke the window in Yale's residential dorm, Calhoun College, named after former Vice President John C. Calhoun, one of the most prominent pro-slavery figures in American history. Yale fired Menifee. He was also charged with felony mischief, but widespread condemnation of Yale's actions. The charges were formally dropped, and Menifee was offered his job back. Menifee's agreement with Yale now prohibits him from speaking about his case. Earlier this month, though, Menifee spoke to Democracy Now!
You know, it's a picture. It was a picture that just, you know, as soon as you look at it, it just hurt. You feel it in your heart, like, oh, man. Like, you know, here in the 21st century, you know, we're in a modern era where we shouldn't have to be subjected to those primitive and degrading images.
And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. Breaking with Convention, War, Peace, and the Presidency. 2 weeks of 2-hour daily specials. I'm Amy Goodman.
And I'm Juan Gonzalez. Welcome to all of our listeners and viewers around the country and around the world.